to you.
The whole time is it's very good fun, I think, anyway.
What if the most valuable document inside the royal family wasn't locked inside Buckingham Palace, but hidden in a simple leather diary that almost disappeared forever? Not a crown, not a royal decree, not even a will, just page after page of handwritten thoughts from the one royal who has spent a lifetime watching history unfold from the front row without ever asking for the spotlight. Princess, and has always been different. While headlines followed scandals, interviews, and palace drama, she quietly carried out thousands of royal engagements, earning a reputation for discipline, loyalty, and silence. But sometimes silence says more than speeches ever could. Now, according to reports circulating among royal commentators and historians, renewed attention has turned toward a collection of Anne's personal writings, notes, and journals that may offer an extraordinary glimpse into some of the monarchy's most defining years. Whether every page survives or not, one question has captured the imagination of royal watchers around the world. What did Princess Anne choose to write down when nobody else was listening? And could one forgotten entry change how future generations understand the royal family? If there is one person who witnessed decades of royal history without chasing public attention, it is Anne. She stood beside Queen Elizabeth II through triumph and crisis. She watched Prince Philip shape the family behind closed doors. She saw the pressures placed upon King Charles long before he became monarch. She experienced the arrival of Diana, the transformation of the monarchy, and the constant balancing act between tradition and modern expectations. Unlike many public figures, Anne rarely explains her feelings. That is precisely why the possibility of private reflections fascinates so many people. Because sometimes history is not rewritten by public speeches. Sometimes it is preserved in quiet words written for no audience at all. And that possibility brings us to a remarkable story. People often describe Princess Anne as the hardest working member of the royal family. But another quality has followed her throughout her life. She remembers everything. Former staff members, royal correspondents, and historians have long noted Anne's remarkable attention to detail. She approaches royal duties with military precision, preparing thoroughly for every engagement and rarely leaving important matters to chance. That habit naturally raises an intriguing possibility. Someone so organized may also have preserved moments that others allowed to disappear. For decades, Buckingham Palace has produced official records, speeches, correspondence, and state documents. Those papers tell one version of history, the public version. Private notes are different. They capture uncertainty. They preserve emotion. They record conversations exactly as they were remembered. If and ever maintained personal journals, they would represent something entirely different from official palace archives. Not institutional history, personal history. That difference matters. History written for publication often becomes polished. History written only for yourself tends to remain honest. Royal experts have often remarked that Anne never seemed interested in shaping her public image. She simply carried on with her work, avoiding unnecessary interviews and allowing her actions to speak louder than carefully crafted headlines. That reputation has only fueled curiosity. Because if someone who almost never speaks publicly ever chose to write privately, those pages could reveal an extraordinary perspective. Not because they expose scandal, but because they explain people. How did Queen Elizabeth respond during moments of uncertainty? What advice did Prince Philip quietly give his children? How did Charles handle years spent waiting to become king? How did Anne truly view the enormous responsibility placed upon each generation? Those are questions official documents rarely answer. Personal reflections sometimes do. And that possibility alone has made the idea of Anne's private diary one of the most fascinating subjects among royal enthusiasts. Yet the greatest surprise may not be that such writings could exist. It may be that one particular entry has become the focus of intense discussion. Because according to those following this story, one passage appears to concern an event that shaped the future of the monarchy itself. Every family has moments that quietly alter its future. The royal family is no different. Some turning points happen before television cameras. Others unfold behind closed doors, where only a handful of people ever witness them. Princess, and has lived through nearly every defining chapter of the modern monarchy. She was there as Britain transformed. She watched her mother's reign become the longest in British history. She experienced public celebrations, national mourning, constitutional challenges, and deeply personal family moments. Most people saw only carefully staged appearances and saw the hours before and after those appearances. That unique position makes her perspective unlike anyone else's. Imagine standing just outside the spotlight for more than 70 years. You hear conversations the public never hears. You observe decisions before announcements are made. You notice emotions hidden behind official smiles. Those observations rarely appear in newspapers, but they often remain in memory. And sometimes memories find their way onto paper. One story attracting particular attention concerns a private family gathering shortly before one of the monarchy's most significant transitions. Accounts differ. Details remain uncertain. Yet several royal commentators have suggested that Anne's perspective during that period would be among the most valuable historical records ever written. Not because it settles arguments, but because it explains the atmosphere inside the family when history was unfolding. There is an enormous difference between reading that something happened and understanding how it felt while it was happening. That emotional truth is often lost, unless someone writes it down. If and did, those words could offer historians something official documents never could: human perspective. And one reported entry has become especially intriguing because it appears to describe not politics, but responsibility. Responsibility carried by a son preparing for a crown. Responsibility carried by a daughter protecting her mother's legacy. Responsibility carried by an institution trying to preserve stability during extraordinary change. Those themes continue to define the royal family today, which may explain why interest in Anne's private writings has grown so dramatically. But before understanding why that single entry matters, another question must be answered. Why would Princess Anne preserve such personal reflections in the first place? The answer may lie in a lesson she learned decades earlier from the two people she respected most. Princess Anne has often been described as the child who inherited qualities from both Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip. From her mother came discipline. From her father came resilience. Together, those traits shaped one of the most respected working royals of the modern era. Queen Elizabeth believed deeply in duty. She rarely allowed personal feelings to overshadow public responsibility. Prince Philip approached challenges differently. He encouraged practical thinking, preparation, and honesty, even when conversations became uncomfortable. Growing up between those two remarkable personalities gave Anne an unusual perspective. She understood that leadership was rarely about dramatic moments. More often, it was about quiet decisions made when nobody was watching. Perhaps that explains why Anne has always appeared comfortable outside the spotlight. Recognition was never the goal. Responsibility was. That same philosophy may also explain why preserving memories would matter. History fades surprisingly quickly. Voices disappear. Conversations become distorted. But written words have a way of surviving long after those who wrote them are gone. Whether every reported account surrounding Anne's private writings proves accurate or not, one truth remains undeniable. Few members of the royal family have witnessed as much history while saying so little publicly. That silence has become part of her legacy. Ironically, it may also be the reason so many people are now asking what she chose to write when no cameras were present. Because if one remarkable diary entry truly exists, it may reveal not just what happened inside the royal family, but why it happened. And as historians continue searching for answers, one particular page has begun attracting more attention than any other. It is a page that, according to growing speculation, left even those closest to the crown reflecting on the weight of family, duty, and history. For years, Princess Anne's reputation rested on one simple principle. She never sought attention. while headlines chased dramatic interviews and public disputes, and continued her royal duties with remarkable consistency. She attended engagements in every corner of the United Kingdom, represented the crown overseas, and quietly became one of the most respected members of the royal family. That was precisely why the growing interest surrounding her private papers felt so unusual. No one expected and to become the center of a mystery. Yet questions continued to surface. Not because she had spoken publicly, because she hadn't. Historians often say that the most valuable records are not always the loudest. Sometimes the greatest discoveries come from carefully preserved letters, handwritten notes, appointment books, and journals that were never intended for publication. Several royal researchers have pointed out that Queen Elizabeth II herself carefully documented many aspects of her reign through official correspondence and state papers. Prince Philip was equally known for keeping records connected to his work and charitable organizations, and grew up watching that discipline every day. If anyone in the family understood the value of preserving history, it was her. But one former royal archivist offered an observation that made historians pause. He explained that members of the royal family frequently separate official documents from deeply personal material. Official papers belong to the institution. Personal reflections often remain with the individual or their estate unless voluntarily shared. That distinction suddenly made Anne's reported writings far more significant. If personal journals existed, they would not simply repeat official events. They might reveal how those events were experienced by someone standing only a few steps away from history itself. And that possibility transformed quiet curiosity into international fascination. Because for every famous royal photograph, there are countless unseen moments that never reach the cameras. Private conversations, family disagreements, acts of kindness, moments of uncertainty. History remembers ceremonies. People remember emotions. If and chose to preserve those emotions, historians knew they would possess something far more valuable than another official record. They would possess perspective. But before anyone could understand what those writings might contain, another question demanded attention. Who first realized they might exist? According to several royal commentators, renewed interest began during the careful organization of historical materials connected to multiple royal households. Like many historic institutions, the royal household continually reviews, catalogs, and preserves documents for future generations. Most of those materials are routine, schedules, official correspondence, photographs, ceremonial records. Few people outside archival circles ever hear about them. Yet every so often, researchers encounter something unexpected. Not because it changes history overnight, because it adds missing pieces to a story everyone thought they already understood. One historian compared it to discovering an extra chapter in a familiar book. The ending may remain the same, but the journey suddenly feels different. That comparison quickly spread among royal observers. If Anne's reported journals contained reflections from pivotal moments in modern royal history, they could provide precisely that missing chapter. Not rewriting events, explaining them. And among all the reported references, one recurring theme appeared again and again: duty. The word surfaced repeatedly whenever Anne spoke publicly about her work. She never described royal life as privilege. She described it as responsibility. That distinction shaped her entire public image. Perhaps it also shaped her private writing. Imagine recording decades of family life through the lens of duty instead of celebrity. Every page would become less about gossip and more about choices, difficult choices, necessary sacrifices, quiet disappointments, private pride. Those are emotions official announcements rarely capture. Yet they are often what historians value most. Still, one particular period appeared to draw more attention than any other. The final years of Queen Elizabeth II's reign. A time of enormous constitutional importance. A time of personal loss. And a time when every member of the family faced responsibilities unlike anything they had experienced before. If Anne reflected on those years, Historians believe her perspective could become one of the most thoughtful accounts ever written by a senior royal. Not because she sought headlines, but because she never did. As interest continued growing, discussion gradually shifted away from weather and had written private reflections. Instead, attention focused on something far more intriguing. One particular entry. No verified text has ever been released publicly. No authenticated page has appeared for historians to examine. Yet speculation alone revealed something fascinating about public curiosity. People were no longer asking whether and had witnessed history. Everyone already knew she had. They wanted to understand what history looked like through her eyes. What did she notice that others missed? What moments stayed with her long after cameras disappeared? What lessons did she learn from watching one of the longest reigns in British history unfold from within the family itself? Those questions remain unanswered. Perhaps they always will, but they reveal something important. The public's greatest interest is not scandal. It is understanding. Understanding how duty shapes people, how family survives extraordinary pressure, how history feels while it is still being lived. And if there truly is one diary entry capable of capturing those emotions, its importance may have nothing to do with palace politics. It may simply remind future generations that behind every crown, every ceremony, and every historic photograph stood ordinary human beings carrying extraordinary responsibilities. But according to some royal historians, one moment in particular may hold the key to understanding why Anne's perspective continues to matter today. And that story begins with a conversation that almost nobody outside the family ever witnessed. History often remembers monarchs through portraits, speeches, and ceremonies. But those who stand closest to the throne carry a different kind of history. It is not written in official records. It is remembered in ordinary moments. A quiet conversation after a long day. A handwritten note left on a desk. A few thoughtful words exchanged during a family gathering. These moments rarely make headlines, yet they often reveal more about leadership than any public appearance ever could. Princess Anne has spent decades in precisely that position, close enough to witness history, yet distant enough to observe it with remarkable clarity. Throughout her public life, she has consistently chosen restraint over attention, while others embraced interviews or public commentary and remained focused on service, allowing her work to define her reputation. That consistency has become one of her most recognizable qualities. For historians, consistency matters. It suggests that the values a person presents in public may also reflect the values they hold in private. If an ever committed personal reflections to paper, many believe those writings would not be driven by emotion alone. They would likely reveal careful observation, practical judgment, and an unwavering sense of responsibility. That possibility has become one of the most compelling reasons scholars continue exploring the lives of modern royals beyond official archives. Because history is not only shaped by decisions, it is shaped by the people who remember how those decisions were made. Within the royal family, duty has always been more than tradition. It is a daily commitment. Every engagement, every ceremony, every visit represents an institution that has existed for generations. While the public often sees polished appearances, the preparation behind those events requires extraordinary discipline. Princess Anne has long embodied that discipline. Year after year, she has maintained one of the busiest schedules among senior working royals, representing hundreds of organizations while rarely drawing attention to herself. Observers frequently note that this approach reflects the influence of both Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip. From her mother came an understanding that service must continue regardless of personal circumstances. From her father came resilience and practical thinking. Together, those lessons shaped Anne into a figure widely respected across the United Kingdom and beyond. If personal writings ever reflected those experiences, they would likely offer more than family stories. They would provide insight into leadership itself. How does someone remain steady while public expectations constantly change? How do families preserve unity while carrying immense national responsibilities? These are questions that extend far beyond royalty. They speak to leadership, resilience, and character. Perhaps that is why interest in Anne's perspective continues to grow. Not because people expect sensational revelations, because they hope to better understand the people behind the public roles. Every generation inherits more than titles. It inherits memories. For the modern monarchy, preserving those memories has become increasingly important as Britain reflects on the reign of Queen Elizabeth II and the transition to a new era. Museums safeguard artifacts. Archives preserve official documents. Historians collect correspondence. Together, these materials help future generations understand the past. Yet even the most comprehensive archive cannot fully capture human experience. Only personal recollections can explain how events felt to those who lived through them. That is why diaries, letters, and journals have long been considered among history's most valuable sources. They do not replace official records. They complement them. They add context. They reveal perspective. Whether or not Anne's reported writings ever become publicly available, the discussion surrounding them highlights an important truth. People are searching for understanding rather than spectacle. They want to know how decades of service shaped one of Britain's most respected royals. They want to understand what lessons were learned during times of celebration, uncertainty, and profound national change. And perhaps most importantly, they want to preserve those lessons before they fade into history. The modern media often rewards immediate reactions. Royal life rarely works that way. Its most significant changes unfold gradually, sometimes over years rather than days. Princess Anne's career reflects that reality. Her influence has seldom been measured through dramatic announcements. Instead, it has been built through reliability, consistency, and quiet leadership. These qualities rarely dominate headlines, yet they often leave the deepest mark on institutions. Historians frequently remind us that enduring legacies are not always created by the loudest voices. They are often shaped by those who remain steadfast while history unfolds around them. Whether discussing state occasions, charitable work, or family milestones, and has consistently demonstrated that public service is measured through actions rather than attention. Perhaps that is the greatest lesson this story offers. The value of history does not always lie in discovering hidden secrets. Sometimes it lies in appreciating the lives of those who helped shape it through patience, discipline, and unwavering commitment. As interest in the royal family continues to evolve, researchers will undoubtedly keep examining every available source, searching for deeper understanding of one of the world's most closely observed institutions. Some questions may eventually find answers. Others may remain part of history's enduring mystery. Yet one fact remains clear. The story of Princess Anne is not defined by headlines alone. It is defined by decades of service that continue to influence the monarchy in ways both visible and unseen. And that legacy, more than any single document, may prove to be her most enduring contribution. History has a curious way of revealing its greatest lessons long after the moment itself has passed. When Queen Elizabeth II dedicated her life to public service, few could have imagined how profoundly her reign would shape not only Britain, but the people closest to her. Every member of the royal family carried that responsibility differently, yet few embraced it with a quiet consistency of Princess Anne. Throughout changing governments, global events, and generations of royal transition, Anne remained remarkably unchanged. She arrived, she worked, she represented the crown. Then she quietly returned home, allowing others to receive the headlines. That steady presence has become one of the defining characteristics of her public life. Perhaps that is why so many historians continue asking the same question. How does someone remain so steadfast while witnessing decades of extraordinary change? The answer may never be found in a single diary, a forgotten notebook, or a private collection of handwritten pages. Instead, it may be found in the choices and made every day. Duty before recognition, service before popularity, responsibility before personal comfort. Those values became her legacy long before anyone imagined people would one day search for hidden reflections from her private life. Yet stories surrounding those reflections continue to resonate because they symbolize something much larger than curiosity. They remind us that every historic institution is ultimately shaped by individuals. Individuals who experience uncertainty. Individuals who carry enormous expectations. Individuals who must make difficult decisions while knowing history will eventually judge them. The human perspective often disappears behind palace gates, but it never disappears entirely. It survives through memories, through conversations, through carefully preserved records, and through the lasting influence one generation leaves for the next. Royal history is often told through kings and queens. Yet every successful reign depends upon people whose contributions receive far less attention. Princess Anne has become one of those figures, not because she sought influence, because she earned trust. Across decades of public service, charities, military appointments, and international visits, and built a reputation grounded in reliability rather than publicity. That reputation has become increasingly significant as the monarchy continues adapting to the 21st century. Modern audiences expect transparency. Historic institutions value continuity. Finding balance between those expectations is never easy. Anne's example demonstrates that quiet leadership can remain remarkably effective even in an age dominated by constant media attention. Perhaps that explains why renewed interest in her perspective continues growing. People are looking beyond ceremonies, beyond titles, beyond headlines. They want to understand the principles that allowed one woman to dedicate an entire lifetime to service without allowing changing public opinion to define her purpose. That lesson extends far beyond royalty. It speaks to leadership in every field. The importance of integrity, the discipline of consistency, the ability to remain focused while circumstances constantly evolve. Those qualities are timeless, and that may ultimately prove more valuable than any hidden document could ever be. Whether stories about a secret diary ever become part of the historical record or remain the subject of speculation, they reveal something important about the public itself. People are not simply fascinated by palaces. They are fascinated by character, by resilience, by loyalty, by the quiet decisions made when nobody is watching. Princess Anne's life has consistently reflected those qualities. For more than 7 decades, she has witnessed moments that transformed the monarchy, comforted a nation during times of loss, and carried out thousands of engagements with remarkable dedication. That legacy exists regardless of whether private journals are ever discovered. Because, in the end, history is remembered not only through documents, it is remembered through lives well lived. And perhaps that is Princess Anne's greatest contribution of all. Not a hidden diary, not a forgotten page, but a lifetime of service that continues to shape the royal family in ways history is still learning to appreciate. If you enjoyed exploring this remarkable chapter of royal history, don't forget to subscribe, share your thoughts below, and tell us one question you would ask Princess Anne if you had the opportunity. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next documentary.